How long did Batman take to complete the events of Batman Arkham Knight? So obviously we know that Batman beat the game in that one night, but how did he exactly do it? How is it possible? It's not. I actually think it's impossible, but then again, we're playing a game where we're fighting a giant crocodile, so whatever.
Waylon Jones must be apprehended.
Let this place sink and everyone with it. You've got no idea.
Let's just get started with the video because who really needs a long intro? So yeah, I'm going to be breaking down how Batman completed the events of Arkham Knight in one night with strong evidence and breakdowns. Please subscribe. I want 100k, like please, that would be so awesome. It's a dream of mine. Follow my socials down in the descriptions. Appreciate all of that, and let's just jump into it. Okay, so this video isn't some theory crafting video on how time passes by in the game because there is actually proof in the game of how the time passes by. And it's this giant clock right here. Yes, this clock at the clock tower actually changes time throughout the game. However, the clock is kind of stupid as and we'll cross that bridge as to why when we get to it, but here's something with this clock. It does not change in real time in game. If you were to start this game and beat it all in one sitting, this clock will remain the same time-wise the entire game. What you need to do is back out of the game and reload back in, and in doing so, the time will change. The time only changes throughout the main story missions. Side missions don't affect it, as far as I can tell from the few side missions I tried. So that's not a factor here, but I will be factoring how Batman completed the side missions throughout the game as well, right? Because he obviously had to do that. So this entire video is basically me telling you when the times change, what Batman may or may not have accomplished between main missions in terms of side missions and overworld events, and also explaining some inconsistencies with the clock because the clock likes to be stupid as sometimes, like I said. There's also the clock in Miyagani Island too. This is also accurate, but I just didn't use it. The few times I did check it though, it was the same time as the clock tower, so you can use that one as a point of reference too, if you would like. But for this video, I use a clock tower. Let's start. Okay, so the beginning of the game is actually an inconsistency. So right when you start the game, when you get control of Batman, if you go to the clock tower right away, the time as you can see is about 8:55 p.m., pretty much 9 p.m., right? This is the intro of the game right before you talk to Gordon. It's almost 9 p.m., right? So keep that in mind. That's when the game starts, quote unquote. However, here's where things get weird. After talking to Gordon, like right in the beginning of the game, like immediately after, if you exit the game, because like I said, after every main story mission, you have to back out to see if the time changes. So if you back out right after talking to Gordon, the clock now has a different time. It is now 1:04 a.m. it looks like. Okay, so apparently 4 hours passed between Batman starting the night and talking to Gordon. I mean, what the f***? Did Batman decide to just chill for 3 hours flying around Gotham? Okay, so yeah, how do we fix this? Because this is just inconsistent right from the beginning, right? Well, it looks like based off the rest of the times in the game, that the time here, 1:04 a.m. or whatever it is the canon time. Because as you'll see throughout the rest of this video, the changes in the clocks match more so this time than 8:55 p.m. I don't know why the game does this. Maybe it's just something that was overlooked during development. Who knows? But the game canonically starts around 1 a.m., which is weird to think about. Why did Batman take so long to start the night during a, citywide takeover kind of thing? You ever think that Batman just has a set time when he goes out to be Batman, or like he just goes out whenever he feels like it? It's like he'll notice a crime that's happening like at 7:30 p.m. and be like, ooh, sorry, my shift doesn't start until 8. Let's move on though. So the next time the clock moves is right after visiting the clock tower and meeting up with Oracle, and right before going to Panera Bread Studios to set up the antenna with the Batmobile. The time now changes to 2 a.m. It has moved 1 hour. So between these two times, 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., the major things that happened was that Bats took Ivy to GCPD, and he got an update on the crimes on Blake Island, with them being the hung pig victims, some Riddler's challenges, and the missing firefighters. Now, there's no definitive canon way to tell when Batman completes these missions, but going off my guesses, I'm guessing with Riddler, he didn't bother yet because Batman isn't taking him seriously at this point. And the pig victims, I can see Batman holding off on that, but he also has to take care of that at some point. But for the missing firefighters, I can see Batman going out of his way right then and there to find them, at least on Bleak Island. And considering only 1 hour has passed, I can see Batman doing some of these side missions before going to the clock tower to meet up with Oracle, but that's all up to your interpretation. Moving on, the next time that the time changes is after the Ace Chemicals mission. Right after completing it, if you back down and go back in the game, the time is now 3 a.m. So you're seeing a pattern here, right? Time moves an hour after certain story beats. However, it gets kind of weird, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But okay, so an hour has passed between Batman getting his new suit and stopping Ace Chemicals. I guess that's a fair time frame for Batman. That's really efficient, right? Because stopping Ace Chemicals in only 1 hour and doing stuff prior, like getting a suit and setting up the antenna, realistically, he only spent around 40 minutes at Ace Chemicals doing that, right? It's insane. So this is just my theory, but a lot of the puzzles and stuff we have to do in the game, canonically, stuff like that doesn't happen. Like having to move this ramp around or having Batman take a while to place an explosive gel and stuff like that. I don't know, that's all gameplay stuff, but canonically, some of this stuff may be obsolete, and Batman's probably taking out bad guys in like a minute or two. Less than that, I imagine, but yeah, this is all under an hour right here, which is pretty insane if you ask me. Really efficient. Okay, so here's where things get silly. So the next time the clock actually changes is when you meet Nightwing and complete that first mission of following Penguin's truck and taking out the bad guys. Now, before I tell you the time, between this time and 3 a.m., which is the previous time, a bunch of new missions pop up, including Mad Hatter, all the militia-type missions, like taking out their towers and landmines and stuff, Man-Bat, Firefly, Raish, Killer Croc. Now, I'm not sure when Batman completes these missions, but I can say confidently that he at least starts Firefly and Azrael's missions, because in between these times, Batman asks Alfred for a Gotham's Most Wanted update in which Alfred informs him of these two.
Alfred, give me an update on Gotham's Most Wanted.
One moment, sir. Right, these two are just in. A mysterious hooded figure has been spotted on a rooftop in Grand Avenue. He appears to be standing beside a burning bat symbol, sir. It might be wise to establish whether this interloper is friend or foe. Reports are also coming in of a blaze at the Bristol fire station. One suspects arson, sir, as the power to the building has been cut, disabling the fire suppression system. You may wish to investigate.
So I think it's safe to say Batman starts at least these missions. And in regards to the overworld missions like the militia guys, I'm just gonna guess that throughout the game, Batman canonically whittles them down little by little, making quick work of them. It just makes the most sense, right? And also, he likely runs into Man-Bat during this point as well, since he becomes available to encounter around then. So yes, I think for sure he starts the Firefly, Man-Bat, and Azrael missions, as well as doing some of the overworld militia missions, but that's just my guess. Okay, but the time after the main Nightwing story mission is now, drumroll please, 1:10 a.m. The same time from the beginning of the game. Okay, so it's inconsistent now. Video's over. Goodbye. Okay, but seriously, what now? Because now the clock is just inconsistent, right? Well, no, it's actually not. The time here is supposed to actually be 4 a.m. because, as you will see, the next time the clock moves, it becomes 5 a.m. And this particular situation where it goes back to the beginning time happens like 2 or 3 more times in this video. And when that happens, just assume it means that it's the next hour from the previous time. So right now the time is 4 a.m. It's weird, I know, but you'll get it as the video moves on because it just lines up with how the clock moves later on. Okay, so the next time the clock moves is actually right after the Stag airship section. It's the mission legit right after the Nightwing mission. Going back to the clock tower, even before going to see Oracle become Oldical, because she dies, so she's Oldical, not Oracle because she's old. Thing of the past. I hate myself. The clock tower's time is now 5 a.m. Okay, so see, the Nightwing 1 a.m. thing is a glitch or something. I'm sure it's supposed to say 4 a.m. because it just lines up better here. Okay, so yeah, so I feel like how efficient Batman was with times prior to this 5 a.m. one. He may have completed some more side missions in this time frame. He maybe took out some more militia stuff, maybe stopped another villain like Raish, maybe Mad Hatter. Who knows? Just food for thought. So yeah, the Stag airships takes him an hour, leaving the time at now 5 a.m. Now here's the next crazy part. The time does not change again until right after the Panera Bread studio section where Harley takes it over and I had to go stop her in the infected Joker knockoff stupid mission. I hate this mission, it's boring. Okay, so yeah, right after talking to Harley here at the clock tower, the time here once again changes to 1:10 a.m. which if you skipped or didn't listen to that earlier part of the video, this just means that the time moved forward only 1 hour. So this 1 a.m., 1:05 a.m., 1:10 a.m., whatever, is actually 6 a.m. What's crazy though is how much Batman gets accomplished in this 1 hour time span. Because after Stag airships, you have to go watch Oracle lose more than just her legs, you bring Poison Ivy into the Batmobile, you spend time fighting Cobra tanks and upgrading the Batmobile, dropping Ivy off, and then you get another Gotham's Most Wanted update which includes Two-Face and Nightwing finding another Penguin truck. So canonically, it's assumed Batman starts Two-Face and continues Penguin's missions. And then after that, Batman gets the sonar plate thing from Lucius, spawns a giant plant out of nowhere, and then goes to Panessa Studios to study Founders Island, goes to Founders Island, disables the turrets, fights with the Arkham Knight and his goons, and after this, Joker persuades him to do some hit and runs with the Batmobile, implying that Batman does some more side missions. And then he goes to the clock tower to start the Harley mission. Yeah, doing all of this in 1 hour, I guess for this Batman it's possible. You just have to suspend some disbelief here, like, I don't know. This is a lot to do in 1 hour, but Batman does do it. Maybe Batman doesn't start some side missions, but I'm assuming he does because he asks for Gotham's Most Wanted updates and stuff, since he could kill time canonically, so I don't know. But yeah, the time right now says it's 1:10 a.m. It's actually 6 a.m. And then it only gets weirder, because the time moves 1 hour after stopping Harley at Panessa Studios. It moves 1 hour to 7 a.m. So see, why did this take Batman 1 hour? He should beat this all quicker considering everything previously. Maybe he was just too busy staring at something for a long period of time. I get it. Did you know they referenced this scene in Suicide Squad Kill It Justice League where Harley picking up Batman? So stupid. And how's Harley picking up Batman with all his armor on? Stop the cap. But yeah, this section of Panessa Studios took him 1 hour. It's hard to tell, but it does, I guess. So one side mission that's unlocked here is the Hush side mission, which I think for sure Batman does right away because 1, Lucius isn't responding, so Batman would worry and go to check on him, and 2, if you do this post-game where everyone knows Bruce is Batman, the side mission plays out the same as if Hush doesn't know who Batman is. So I think canonically, Batman completes this mission right when it spawns. Now here's where things get even, spoiler, weirder. The next part of the story is the Cloudburst section where Gotham is engulfed in a gas you'd see in a Chipotle bathroom. After completing the Cloudburst section, the time stays the same. No time has changed. It's crazy, right? You'd think like at least 1 hour has passed for the Cloudburst section. However, it's after you go to GCPD and track down Gordon's location, which is the next part of the story, where the time finally changes to 1:10 a.m. again, which by now just means an hour has passed, which means it is now 8 a.m. It's just weird the clock doesn't move right after the Cloudburst section, but whatever, you would think it does. I guess this is the same thing though, and I guess the Cloudburst section could have taken less than an hour. I mean, Batman had to track down Stag, get in the Batmobile, go underground and search for Ivy's plant, fight off some tanks, and fight the Arkham Knight. Sure, I guess. Now, the next time the time moves is after completing the next set of story missions, basically, which is infiltrating the Arkham Knight's underground hideout place, fighting the Arkham Knight in his driller mobile, saving Gordon, finding Oracle, and then saving her. So yes, right after saving Oracle and putting her in the Batmobile, you can see that the time changes to 9 p.m., which makes sense. That mission did feel like it would probably take an hour for Batman. I'm guessing Batman didn't do any side missions between these points since, you know, he had to hurry to save Gordon. And the next and final time. Yes, the final time the clock moves is after the assault on GCPD, right before going to Panessa to check on Robin's dumbass. The time moves 1 final hour to 10 a.m. And this is the final time the clock tower moves. The only new side mission to pop up between these times is Deacon Blackfire, which, you know, joining a cult like that is only something you'd see in Gotham, dude.
Hey son, I wanted to talk to you. I know religion's important and all, but I think you might...
Who dares disrupt this ritual?
But yeah, this is the final time. Even after beating the main story with Scarecrow, the time is still 10 p.m. And furthermore, even after completing every mission in the game and even after Nightfall Protocol, it's still 10 p.m. Now, let's break this down. So if we're basing things off the clock, the events of the main story took approximately 9 hours for Batman to beat from 1 a.m. to 10 a.m. approximately. And the side missions I think that he for sure canonically started were Firefly, Azrael, Man-Bat, Two-Face, Penguin, Hush, Riddler, as well as some overworld things like stopping militia checkpoints and stuff. Most of the side missions are due to Batman asking for Gotham's Most Wanted updates, with these villains and characters being brought up. Now, even though the clock does not move after the GCPD assault and stays on 10 p.m., I think after Scarecrow, it could be 11 a.m., right? Because it just makes sense time-wise. So if you think the game truly ends on 11 a.m. or maybe even after that, then sure. But here's another thing. It's still dark as shit outside of Gotham. The game ends on 10 a.m. It should be bright out, right? Like it's actually morning, like an actual morning kind of thing when you would wake up. I guess in Gotham, it's still dark as all, even outside at 10 a.m. It's a little weird, and it's weirder because it's here in the post-game where Batman finishes every other side mission. Now Riddler, I think he for sure completes post-game because of the goodbye between him and Catwoman. That kind of implies that he's going to do the Nightfall Protocol. And for that reason, I also think he completes a Penguin mission post-game too as well for that same reason. Batman saying goodbye to Nightwing. I think Deathstroke is also for sure a villain afterwards as well, right? Because he takes over after Arkham Knight disappears. And as far as them, I think every other villain is up in the air. Professor Pig, the DLCs like Mr. Freeze, Croc. Well, Croc would have been finished before Penguin since he sees Nightwing there. But yeah, my point is, the game's main story takes 9 hours, and post-game probably takes Batman a couple more hours, maybe? No way to tell from there, though. It's weird that the time starts at around 9 p.m., but then jumps to 1 a.m. out of nowhere. It would have made more sense if the time started at 8, but that just doesn't look like the case here, right? Or maybe it is. Maybe the clock just glitched in the beginning. Maybe the game does start at 9, and with the 9 hours it takes for the main story to finish, the game ends at 6? Is that 9 hours? 6? Yeah, 6. No, wait. Yeah, 6 a.m. That would make a lot more sense. But I'm going off of what's in front of my eyes, man. But there you have it. The breakdown of how Batman beat the game in one night. The biggest issues for me are the side missions and how it's still dark as legendary Godzilla films at 10 a.m. when it should be bright out, but whatever. It's Gotham, I guess it gets a pass, I suppose. But I hope you enjoyed that breakdown. Do leave a comment. I am actually genuinely curious on this one if you think it's accurate or not. It was a pain continuously backing in and out to update the time, but I was locked in playing the game, man. I love this game. I'll never get sick of it. Hope you enjoyed the video, though. And if you did, please leave a like, a subscription, a clicked bell. I don't know, man. Support the video and channel, please. I always appreciate it, even if you think I don't. Follow my socials, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, and peace.